guys? Welcome back to another episode of WeBe Reptiles. Today's episode is going to be about how to build your own WeBe enclosure. Starting off, I'm going to tell you all the materials that you need and all the tools, and then I'm going to set up so I can show you how we do all the pre-drilling and everything. So start off, you want to get your indoor 45 watt. It could be Philips, Sylvania, doesn't matter. They sell these at Lowe's or Home Depot. This was $10 for a 3-pack, so it comes out to like $3.33 a piece. Or you can get the 6-packs at Lowe's for $16, so it comes out a little bit cheaper. You have to get your light fixture, which you get at those at Walmart. This one actually was $11, but they have them for $9. I had to get these because they didn't have any of the $9 ones, so I picked that up anyways. You're going to get a pack of melamine edging tape. You're going to need a drill. You'll need a box of screws. You'll want, at least a 1 1/4 inch wood screws, 100-pack. And then you're going to need I don't know the professional term for this bit. I'm sorry if, any of my good followers know this because they're more intelligent than I am. Just explain. What this does here is it'll drill a hole, but it also will bury out like a little pocket for your screw heads so that way it stays flush with the wood. You'll need one of these. You'll need a drill bit. So I think, let me see if I see the size on it. It says 1/8 size drill bit, so that way you can pre-drill, because if you do not pre-drill all your screws or all your holes first, this wood will expand. It's not solid wood, and your screws will expand and kick this finish off and just destroy your whole thing and make it look horrible. You'll need a 3-inch port. I don't know what they call these. Again, remember, I don't know the professional words for these, but you'll need this one for 3-inch, and this one's a 1 1/4 inch. This is for your cords, and this is for your vents. And here are your vents. You'll need these vents here. I get these specifically because they have these meshes on them, and the crickets won't come out. And then you'll need a screwdriver bit. All right, I'm gonna set up now and show you guys. Oh, also, I'm sorry. You'll need a ceramic fixture, 1 bulb ceramic fixture, and a 6-foot extension cord that you're going to cut the head off of it so you can hardwire it to this. To hardwire, remember the one with the rounder head, the bigger head, that's your neutral. And your neutral, when you read your instructions, I believe is the copper one. I'll have to reread it again, but I believe the copper fitting is the neutral. So on your plug, follow it all the way back. The one with the fatter, rounder head is your neutral, and you'll see that works. So give me a second, I'll be right back. All right, what we're going to do first is we're going to start pre-drilling the 2 boards, putting them together, so you're not having to do double drilling and whatnot, and you're able to take care of them both at once. Hold them tightly together. You can use clamps if you want to. I don't have my clamps accessible right now because they're holding on to my other tank, putting the tracks on. So just hold it real tight. I forgot to tell you, the bit I'm using right now is the one that makes the pilot as well, so you can put your screws in. You're just going to go ahead and go 1 on each corner. I want to go 3 on the sides and 3 in the middle, so you're basically going to hit it, I say 3, 6, 8 times. So you go 1 in the middle right here. Try to keep it, and try to go as close to the edge as possible because the wood's only 3/4 inches thick. So you don't want to go too far over. For your back, you're going to hit actually 1 right next to it. So actually you're going to do 10 holes actually. I'll give you 2 in there. I'm not going to waste y'all's time with this. I'm going to pause right now, finish the drilling, and then I'm going to show you. You do the same thing with your sides. You'll do the same thing where you have your 2 side pieces, which are going to be your... Oh, let me tell you your measurements. I apologize for that. Let me start off by explaining the measurements. Your top and your bottom, they're going to be 36 inches long by 24 inches wide. Your sides and your back panel are going to be 16.5 inches tall, and your 2 sides are going to be 2 feet wide. And your back panel is going to also be 34.5 inches wide by 16.5 inches tall. You can get all your cuts done at Home Depot and do that on your own. If you have a table saw, you can do it on your own. You also want to cut 2 pieces. These are going to be your front pieces that are going to hold your track, if you find the tracks. You can do them however size you want the windows to be. What I do is I do a 3-inch bottom and a 2-inch top, and that gives me an 11-inch piece of glass tall with 18 inches across wide. So your glass is you're gonna want to get it cut. If you do the 3 by 2 like I do, if you do all the measurements the same, make sure you get your glass cut to, depending on if you're going to use the tracks that are going to sit on top of here, measure out your glass. I don't go by my measurements because I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to use or find the tracks that I use. If you do, you're going to use an 11.5 inch by 18 inch. So that's the cuts for the glass. And like I said, I'm not going to continue this song while I'm drilling and just explaining to you guys the measurements. I'm going to give you that one more time so you guys, in case you didn't get it. Your top and your bottom, 36 inches by 24 inches. Your 2 sides are going to be 24 inches by 16.5 inches. And your back panel is going to be 34.5 inches by 16.5 inches. And your front panels are going to be your choice if you're going to do 3 inches by 34.5 and then 2 inches by 34.5. It's your choice on how big you want the glass to be. You can not even use a top piece at all. You don't even have to use a top trim, the 2-inch trim. You can go straight to the top of the panel that's on the top and go straight from that. But I like a smaller glass because this will cover the UV a little bit. So when you come in your room, you don't have the UV lights dead in your face. Really good tip. Like I said, one more time, I apologize, keep saying it, but I'm going to pause right now, finish my pre-drilling. Same thing, like I said, what I'm doing here is I'm doing 3 on the side, 3 on the back, 3 on the side, and then 1 in the middle here. And then on the sides, we're not going to drill here because these are going to be our side panels. We're going to drill on the sides, and I'll show you that once I'm done drilling. Okay, I'm all done with my pre-drilling. Now, a quick hint, and this will save you a little bit of time and headache. You want to go ahead and put on your fixtures now that the enclosure is not complete, so that way you're not working with it all complete and you're sticking your head inside of the little opening. So what I use are two screws, I guess, that are not thicker than the material and the board. So remember, try to use something that's like maybe 1 inch, if not less. And I don't have a drill for these, unfortunately, so I have to use my socket. Oh, by the way, a recap on that. I did read the instructions, and the copper fitting is your hot. So you want to run your smaller head that's on your wires to your hot, and your hot's going to be your copper fitting underneath this fixture. So you'll see the copper fitting, and that's for your hot. Excuse me while I put this in there. Of course, if you guys have a right size, I just unfortunately don't have it for my drill, so I got to use my ratchet. But if you guys have it, of course, more power to you to use the correct tool. I'm just acting like a tool using the wrong one right now. Excuse my terminology. But I'm going to go ahead and pause right now. Go ahead and finish mounting these. This one right here, you can actually use your same screws that you're using because this is 1 inch tall and the screws are 1.25 inches. So you only go 1 inch inside the wood, so these are perfect. You want to screw right into the 2 pilot holes, or you can use try to guide it to here. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't, because you're going to hard screw it in. But just use 1 screw here, 1 screw here. And when you fit it at an angle so the UV goes from the front to the back. It actually exposes the entire enclosure. And that way also make sure that the on and the end fitting is close to your outlet to this, because this is going to run out your porthole out the back of the enclosure's door. So like I said, I'm going to pause right now, go ahead and mount this. I'll go ahead and start again when I show you when it's all mounted. Alright, now everything's installed as far as the fixtures. You got your 1 UVB and your basking installed. You're going to now set up your sides. Now, if you don't have any help, but I do unfortunately, but if you didn't have any help, I found that a 5-gallon bucket's 15.5 inches tall and your sides are 16.5 inches tall. So with this fixture, if you put like a towel in a 5-gallon bucket and place it in the middle of your places you're going to be working with, you can actually just use that. Let me show you real quick. center of where you're working with. Or here on the sides. You put them dead center. So that when you put your side panels. And remember, this is just if you don't have any help. You can actually use that. And that will help you hold it as you do your pre-drilling and your screwing together. It's a helpful idea, helpful hand. And remember, with every part that you put together, you want to pre-drill all your holes. You want to make sure you do all your pre-drilling because this wood will expand on you and it'll look terrible. So do your start by doing your front and your back. Alright. And just get all your pre-drills done so that way you're not changing out bits every 2 seconds. So just finish up with this side. And then you come over, grab your other side, place it underneath, up your table like that. As you see, it's basically, you might need a little bit more than just a towel to hold it up, but you get the premise of it. It basically will hold itself up. If you want to take this piece off here, and that way it just sits there on top, and you have more support on the one side. And again, this is only if you don't have any help. I'm just giving you guys a suggestion. You get your drills, and re-drill your sides. Once you get your sides in, the rest of it actually will go in a lot easier. So don't get discouraged. Alright. One last drill right here. Try to make sure you get it as flush because you are trying to go as close to this as possible. I'm going to go ahead and pause now, drill this together, and we'll work on the back. And once again, now you're done with your sides. You got your T. Basically, hopefully you've completed that part successfully. And then you got your two sides. Now what you're going to do is you're going to connect your back piece. Once you connect your back piece, your unit's going to get real solid. You'll be able to work with it a lot better. So what you want to do is you want to start by putting this on your back. Or actually on its top would be the best way to do it. So you put it on its top. If you have help, of course, that'd be the best way to do it. Now, your back panel is going to need the ports, those holes. But I personally don't like putting them on until, or putting the holes in it until after I've assembled the unit, because it's easier to work with once it's one structured piece, like one solid box. And that way, whenever I go to take it apart, to drill the holes, it'll be a solid unit, and I can actually work with it easier. So it'll be a lot easier to get the holes in without any like resistance or vibration and stuff like that. So it's easier that way. We start off again with all your pre-drilling. Got my bit in. Like I said, try to make sure you're nice and flushed. Everything's teed off. You get your drills. Make sure you're close to the edge because you don't have that much wood to work with. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish off this back piece. Once I get the back piece on, I'm going to put on the top. I'm going to stop and show you the top. Again, it's already pre-drilled, so all I'm going to be doing is putting on the screws and sealing it up at that point. So the back piece, once you get this on, you're almost done. You're basically almost done. All you'll need after this is putting on your front strips, and you'll have it completed. After that, you'll do your caulking. And I didn't mention this in the video, but this is an option. I didn't come up with this. It was actually a good friend of mine on Facebook that suggested. This is a 1-inch round trim. It's like 66 cents a foot. It's really cheap. So when you put your caulking in the inside, you don't want to leave all that ugly caulking look. You can actually put this there. Either you can nail it or adhese it with the caulking, and it makes it look like real smooth edging on the corners of the enclosure. So that's another option. It's up to you. It's not a necessity. But I'm probably going to do that for this enclosure and a couple more of them that I'm going to start doing with that. Because I like that little accent on it. I really appreciate that, by the way, if you're watching. Go ahead and pause this again and finish up with my drilling, and get you guys in a few minutes. Alright guys, so we're almost done here. I've completed basically almost everything. I apologize, but you know, there's just a lot to do, and it's kind of hard to just sit there and do it all in front of you guys. But this is basically the premise of it. This is the actual almost finished product. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to iron on our melamine finish, which is this material right here. It's pretty simple. It's like a tape that has already an adhesive on it, but it's very easily cut with like a razor blade or anything like that. So just put a little extra, as the instructions say, overlap a little extra, and try to go flush to the edges so that way the overlap goes over these edges and covers up any of this bad cutting. You know, looks like, that's what you're going to look at, and you're going to be like, wow, it looks kind of ugly with all this raw cut. But when you add this, it'll cover all that up and make it look nice and pretty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to iron it on little by little and edge by edge, and you'll see. I'm going to do one piece real quick for you guys so you see how it's done, and then I'm going to pause again and finish that off, and then I'll show you guys the finished product, almost finished product. But I also already installed the vents. They're not really that much trouble. Once you put them in, they have these little tabs on the back of them that you just bend and they go in. Give me a quick second, I gotta grab some scissors, hold on. So basically all you need is like a regular pair of scissors like this and they'll work. Put your enclosure upright, like so, and measure out your strip. Make sure you got a little overhang on each side, and just cut it. Cut this tip off too. And basically, hopefully your iron is hot by now, which it's not because it's not plugged in. Luckily this doesn't take long, but as that iron is actually warming up, you guys a few more things, updates as far as, like I said, what I've done. Vents are put in, fixtures are put in. Everything has roughly took me, let me see what time I have. I started at 12 and it's 1:30 now, so it's only been an hour and a half, and I'm basically 90% complete. The only thing I have left to do is to apply the melamine material and just adhese or caulk the inside and put the round trim. That's, you know, that's optional, of course, to you. And basically caulk the inside, which is sealing it. The caulking that I use is just make sure you use like a water-based caulking, so that way. And when you do the caulking, make sure you let it dry for at least 2-3 days. You really don't have to worry about it being like animal safe, because unless you have balls of it like running around the enclosure, they're not going to eat it because it's stuffed in the corners. The material is not going to come off, and it's not going to kick off any strong or toxic odors as long as it's water based and you let it sit for 3 days or so. I would also suggest you let it run with a basking light inside of it for a full day, to let any kind of chemicals or anything that might be coming inside of those or come out of the chemicals, it come out right away, so it'll dry better. And that's just a quote, and that's a suggestion. I would honestly try to do that. Let me see if I have this hot already. Oh, it's hot. Yeah, I'm not the brightest crayon in the pack, as you guys can see, but basically you get the material, and you make sure that you're working with a clean surface, because the glue won't adhere correctly. So just, you know, make sure you get it nice and cleaned up. Start with one end and make sure that you're overlap completely on both sides, plenty. And if you do like a kind of an overlap on one side, you can actually fold this over to kind of cover the cracked pieces on the top. So basically you just put it on there with an iron, go over it slowly. Set the iron on cotton or the highest setting, it doesn't matter, because you want it to be nice and hot, because you want that glue to activate and adhere to the exposed wood. Make it nice and colorful. Cover it up nice. But yeah, you just run it over a couple times. Smell something hot? That's good. That just means that the glue is heating up. Sorry that I'm showing you my buttocks. I'm just trying to get this one slab real quick done for you. And it's done basically. And that's it for that. And I'll do a couple more in front of you. I'll do the front so you guys can see the front done. And what I'll do is I'll turn the enclosure around so that way I'm not stretching, even though I'm tall enough. So just do a little quick measurement, cut. Alright. When you do the melamine, do your top and your bottom, and then do the sides. So that way it's all going in one direction. You're not like going in a circle where you're going side, top, you know, kind of looks kind of silly. And that one was not that great, but it'll still be good because I'll just clean it up. Start all over. There it is. That's where I need it. Boom. So yeah, that's it. Quick little iron job. You know, I'm not the best at ironing, so if it doesn't look perfect, I apologize. But it will look a lot better than the ugly exposed wood, so there's a plus to it. Hit it. Either way. Now the front, you want to go a little bit over. I honestly try to get this as perfect as possible, so that way I'm not having to trim anything extra. And typically you get pretty lucky. This one came out perfect again. Yeah! Alright, come on. That's right. Perfect edging. And back. That was a little bit off. Oh, that's not good. Well, broke. Start all over. That's why we got extra. Alright. Okay. Sorry about that. Didn't expect that delay to happen. I thought I had it right the first time, and I apparently didn't. I got a little bit off again, so just go by a centimeter at a time. Just a little bit at a time. There we go, that's perfect. And then you want to start off with a square at your top, where you're at. You're actually doing good by hitting the corners like that because you're adding heat to the pieces that are already on the front and sides. And again, I screwed that up. Wow, that is insane how I'm continuing to screw that up. Wow. Alright, one more time. Let's see this time I can do it. Right. The glue is being activated and it's starting to melt on me, so it's not a good thing. So, there we go. That time I got it on perfect. As perfect as I can get it. Dang it, I didn't cover that up. No, and I'm not going to try. It's not that big of a deal. Alright, so one last one. Of course you'll do your sides as well, but I'm going to just do the front face. I'll show you guys how it's done when it's finished. And that's going to be right there. That's always good because you don't want to cut short and be missing space. You want to be cut little by little. Eventually get it perfect. And then you have a pretty finished top coat. Alright. This time I caught it. Seems to want to run. I guess the glue, once it gets soft, if you're pushing on it, it's going to run and take the material with you. So careful as you're starting not to push down, like push forward or anything. Just let it push down. Let the glue get adhesed and not push the piece away from where you're trying to adhese it to. That's what my problem was every time. I kept screwing that up. But that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm going to finish up, but I'm going to show you real quick how it looks afterwards. That's it. See how much better it looks now when you have all your white complete? Your trim's looking nice. You'll do the same for the sides. And after that, you will apply your tracks. Place them here and here. And then you would quarter your glass, quarter-inch glass to the sizes of your opening, depending on what you guys choose, if you're going to use a 2-inch lip or if not. That's basically it. That's the completion of it. I mean, there's really not much more I can explain. That's the enclosure, and like I said, that one took me an hour and a half. So if you have the right tools and you have the cuts all done, this probably could have took me an extra 15 minutes less. Probably would have only took me an hour, but I had to do a few extra cuts because the guy at Lowe's didn't really do everything perfectly. But regardless, that is the enclosure complete with UV. I'm going to actually show you guys. Do a little closer. Alright, so that's the enclosure complete. That's with your UV track installed, your basking bulb installed, and that's a ceramic fixture, so you're good with the temperatures of whatever. And you get your 2 vents installed. And what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to install my caulking and then my round trim, and that's it. And then, like I said, my tracks will be on here. And I'll give you guys a real quick look at one of them completed. I did this one a couple days ago. Well, actually, yesterday. That's the one I think I posted, and everybody asked me to do the video. Actually, I can take this off now. Perhaps I should let it sit over here for a couple of minutes. Oh, sorry, guys. All right, so, yeah, that was the finished one from yesterday. That's the tracks and everything done on it. So that's what you'll end up with, a finished, completed piece. I guess this wasn't actually clamping on, so I'm going to have to reclamp that. But yeah, I mean, once you put your tracks on, I just put the same caulking that I use for the edges to adhese the tracks. I mean, it's strong enough to hold it, so there's no reason to put anything much stronger. But that is the basis of it. That's the entire track complete. Everything's done. And once they're done, their measurements, like I said, will be 36 inches by 24 inches by 18 inches tall. If you have any more concerns or questions, feel free to leave them on the comments. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye.